Hi, this is PubShorts, episode 15, Money for Nothing and Research for Free. My name is Dr. KK, and I'm the Innovation Officer at Trinca and Inago, and I have with me Tony. Tony, hi.
Hi, KK. Great title, by the way. What a great band Dire Straits were.
So, are you inspired by Mark Knopfler than, let's say, the average guitar player?
Martin Knopfler is an amazing guitarist. I can appreciate anybody who can play the guitar as well as he can.
Yeah, have you mastered his finger picking electric?
No. Oh God, no. Oh, sorry, no, Lord, no. I mean, there are a number of guitarists who play like him. You know, so I think somebody called it hybrid picking, where you use a pick on the lower strings and you pluck on the higher strings. I can basically manage one finger. Yeah.
Well, interestingly, this was one of the first riffs, as in Money for Nothing was one of the first riffs that I learned on the electric guitar. But we'll talk about guitaring in another
That's
show.
not why we're here.
That's not why we're here. So, Tony, please, could you introduce yourself and, I'm
so sorry. Yeah, of course. Yeah, Tony O'Rourke. I'm VP for Partnerships here at Inago, and I look after the commercialization of our various AI products, among other things.
Right. And PubShorts is an episodic series that, we do one or two streams every week. We cover the latest developments in the field of academia, publishing, artificial intelligence.
Episode 15 already. Where does the time go?
Yes. And so we have a lot to talk about. We stream it live on LinkedIn and on YouTube. You are also able to sort of easily find us by searching for PubShorts. If you find us on the Inago channel, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, etc., so that future videos will hit you faster. So Tony, without further ado, I'm going to go to our first story. We have a bunch of AI stories and some publishing stories, so let me switch to the first AI story. This is a Nature comment titled AI could pose pandemic scale biosecurity risks, and here's how to make it safer. So we are talking about the ChatGPT or the OpenAI model GPT-4o, which is a multimodal model, and it has been available for about a year now. And the article mentioned that there are several good users as well as several bad users. Some of the good users are COVID-related nanobodies, automating liquid handling in terms of biosecurity, biohazard situations, and complex chemical synthesis. But unfortunately, Tony, there are a lot of bad applications as well, including the potential for potential bioweapons, crop destroying agents, and potentially even pandemic level viruses or strains. So, Tony, concerned after reading this?
I'm always concerned, and I'm always pleased to see articles which say, look, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Let's look at how safely we're doing. We're working here, and this article was written by people from Johns Hopkins Health Security in the US. So these are people who understand, know what they're talking about, and I think. Listen, and I know that the US government has already taken a lot of steps in terms of starting to put in measures to protect themselves against this kind of risk.
So some of the concerns regarding the situation, the AI landscape, is that we do not have sufficient standards, and the standards that exist are model specific and are non-collaborative, and they lack transparency. Now, the good news is that there are commitments made by AI companies and some governments, as you mentioned, US, but UK, Canada, Japan, and Singapore are leading the way. So, as you said, positive aspects as well. So, Tony, I think I mentioned in a previous stream that I've just finished reading the Blake Crouch novel. It's called Upgrade, and it's basically the premise is that there's a geneticist who has tried their best to improve the crop situation, and has resulted, as in that genetic experiment has resulted in famine and apocalyptic sort of situations. I'm worried about that. There are a lot of Hollywood movies as well as books, novels written about it. So are you concerned about this? And we need to prevent it, right?
I'm as concerned about this as I am about the poor use or the maluse of technology.
Right.
I'm just glad that governments appreciate the risks that are involved.
Right. And talking about the use of technology for reviewing text.
Oh, I was about to say also, KK, this isn't the only article we're going to be talking about, which emphasizes the need for standards. We'll come back to that.
Right. And so the second, I guess, article that we're talking about is published in the Cambridge University Press, and it is titled Evaluating Science, a Comparison of Human and AI Reviewers. So in a nutshell, this study investigated the ability of human and AI reviewers to accurately detect the source of authorship and evaluate the quality of scientific research. Yeah. Now, human reviewers are better than AI reviewers in detecting human-authored abstracts, but GPT-0, which is basically an AI content detector, it is even better than humans at discerning authorship. So, Tony, your thoughts?
I'm not quite sure I understood what that meant in terms of discerning authorship, in terms of identifying who the author is.
No, in terms of whether it is authored by AI or humans.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Oh, yeah. Well, that doesn't surprise me. I'm glad it does that, because what this article effectively does, and I'm sorry if I'm going to preempt what you're about to say, is it shows a good use of AI. Right. That AI can be used for screening content. If one of the screens is this content written by AI, and an AI can detect that, well, good. Then that's a good use of AI.
Right. So there is a sample size sort of discrepancy. We have 305 human written abstracts, whereas 20 AI written abstracts.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So there is a discrepancy. Now, human reviewers evaluated the research reported in human written abstract to be more positively than the research reported in AI generated abstracts. I guess humans find a little more sort of empathize with the humanness of the things, whereas the evaluations of human and AI reviewers were positively but weakly correlated. Now, that's a statistical sort of a statement, but at the same time, it is interesting to know that humans perceive human written papers to be more, better. So that's interesting, isn't it, Tony?
It is, and as the article says, this does impact on peer review potentially, and it shows that the impact is potentially going to be positive with the right kind of developments. But I think what this pre-screening process is an important part. As more content is being created, it increases the need for really robust rigor. All that.
Right, Tony, you cut off for the last bit. Can you repeat this last sentence, please?
Yeah, I must get my computer fixed. Yes. I'm just saying it just re-emphasizes the importance of rigor in peer review.
Yeah, and to allay your anxiety, Tony, I should get my act together because my mic was away for the last recording, and I should not forget to do that. So anyway, so we all we all have our problems. So I'm going to the probably the deepest sort of thought containing article. It is from davidwarlock.com, and it is titled Integrity in the Age of Agents. Tony, we talked about agents, AI agents in a couple of episodes ago, I think. And so the title is Integrity in the Age of Agents, or is scholarly communication learning enough from the rest of the information world? It's a deep piece, and I'll invite your thoughts on it, Tony. So I'll just start. So it's a blog post by David Warlock, obviously, where he criticizes or critiques the insular nature of scholarly publishing and suggests learning from other industries to create an enforceable standards that can rebuild trust. Basically, because of the challenges with AI, trust has eroded. And he feels that, collaborative measures need to be there. So what are your thoughts on that?
Listen, if David speaks and David writes about a topic like this, he comes from a huge amount of experience, a huge amount of knowledge. I think I mentioned the last time we talked about one of his blog pieces that David this year won the ALPSP award for a lifetime achievement award for his activities in scholarly communication. He's a very knowledgeable guy. He sets the need for standards in order to maintain integrity in the process. And I think, we should all listen.
Right. So some of the instances that is highlighting, which we have talked about in many episodes, Tony, are concerns related to research integrity, including falsification of data and retractions. And this is undermining the trust in scholarly publishing. Yeah. And he mentions some initiatives like the Crossref initiative. We talked about it. You are very sort of I guess you think that Crossref is the gold standard in terms of collaborative opportunities.
Gosh, it's the Crossref sets the goals, sets the bar.
Yeah.
For that kind of collaboration. That was what 25 years ago. Crossref was conceived. and now it's pretty much the standard for identifiers.
Right. So he also mentions other initiatives like the Microsoft and Adobe C2PA initiative. Again, this is related to, I think, image manipulation, which can improve or I guess improve the aspects of data integrity. And he also obviously mentions positive aspects like the potential of AI to verify research data and empower researchers to set their own integrity standards. That's another sort of interesting aspect.
Yeah.
And this is crucial, in his opinion, in rebuilding the trust in journals. And do you think that the trust is
I think the trust. I beg your pardon. I'm about to interrupt you. Okay. I think trust is being eroded by AI to a certain extent, because do we know for certain that every paper has been created by a human? But one of the things that David points out, I think very rightly in this paper, is that he identifies a potential role for professional societies here, like STM and others, in terms of creating and maintaining and managing those standards.
Yeah, and
I think that's
he mentions enforceable standards, which are very important as well, and then so collaborations and enforceable standards. So that is a key thing to. And Tony, because of PubShorts, I'm more in touch with the thoughts of David Warlock and davidwarlock.com. I think I'll recommend every listener, reader who is interested in academia and scholarly publishing and integrity to keep an eye on David Warlock and his articles.
And as I say, he's not just another author. He is somebody who's got a lot of experience, over 50 years worth of scholars. He was a pioneer in electronic publishing. He led a number of leading organizations. And really is a voice to be listened to. Yeah, I agree.
Right. And now we are going to, a sort of a research article. It is published as a preprint in Archive. It is titled M3 Doc RAG. Multimodal retrieval is what you need for multi-page, multi-document understanding. It's a very interesting title. But in a nutshell, it's an AI system that can answer questions across multiple documents and pages. That should be obvious from the title. It uses, Tony, a multimodal language model and multimodal retrieval, and it finds information while preserving the visual details. Are you excited, Tony?
Why is a multimodal approach going to be better than the approach we're using at the moment?
So, in a nutshell, research papers have not just text. Do you agree? They also have figures, images, photographs, and these days. So, for that, for these different types of data, interpretation requires different language models. So, we need different types of language models or a multimodal model. That's a tongue twister to get this right. And this is a research on the basis of such a model, and they created a new benchmark with thousands of documents to validate this approach. And the system can handle complex scenarios like extracting information from charts, figures, and multi-page documents. This is important, Tony. This is what humans do. And if AI has to catch up or at least have comparable quality in terms of paper evaluations, this is a way forward, I would argue.
I agree, it would be a way forward, and I look forward to seeing how this can progress. And
early results show significant improvements over existing document question answering methods. So if you're wondering, we just talked about ChatGPT, or rather GPT-4o, which is also a multimodal model. So from that point of view, this is the future, in my opinion. I'm very excited about this. And even though this sounds like a technical sort of a document, I want to see such things happen across the board, not just in research, but also in regular life, Tony. So that's how I
share your excitement, KK, even though I don't completely understand what it is.
No problem, Tony. We are all on our learning curves at different points. So,
absolutely.
Yes.
I've learned so much about AI in these last 2 years.
All right. So now for the first time, X is debuting on our show. This is a tweet. This is a new sort of a thing that thanks to James Butcher's Journalology episode 101, we got to know that there is a cryptocurrency in research, and it's called ResearchCoin, Tony. And that's what our the episode title, Money for Nothing and Research for Free, is after. So your thoughts on seeing this and discovering this?
I think I'm part of that part of the population that still doesn't quite understand cryptocurrency. So I'm going to leave it in the hands of those people who do to explain. But the principle here is that what this new journal, what this service is promoting is a way of rewarding contributions, right, which has its issues. I can understand from an ethical perspective in some ways, but I think if it's a mode that is accepted by authors, by reviewers, by contributors, and they see a value in it, then great.
Right. And so for everybody, so this is a cryptocurrency, I think specifically related to ResearchHub. So any researcher or author who publishes in ResearchHub will be able to sort of use it. It is a reward. Now, once you earn some rewards in RSE or research coins, you can create bounties that reward other scientists, and obviously you can use it for other purposes as well. Now, we are not sure if researchers will, take this up, and it might be a sort of an interesting sort of way forward. But considering the way the world is evolving, maybe this is a way forward, Tony. And I'll invite your thoughts before I go on to the next related webpage.
I have no more thoughts than I'd like to see how this. I'd like to see how this is going to be accepted by the research community.
And so I went on to research further what ResearchCoin itself is. You can find that in the ResearchHub.com in the document section. So basically, it is obviously a cryptocurrency related to it. Users can earn by sharing and curating. And they can use it for bounties and for tipping, I think, content submissions and voting on community decisions. Now, this is again a sort of a dystopian way this is going, and rewards are based on community perceptions on the value of contributions. So, Tony, I don't know if you watched Black Mirror. This screams of a situation in Black Mirror so far. Yeah, so you can check out the RSE value at a particular website. Actually, I'm going to actually pull it up. So this is the ResearchCoin value as of now. It actually went down in September or October, but it's climbing up again. So interesting, isn't it, Tony? So you can watch.
Absolutely.
Do you have a Bitcoin wallet, Tony?
Oh, I don't. I'm afraid. Do you?
No, I do not. I think I'm not young enough to be, hip to all these things yet, I think. So that's where I am. So anyway, this is an interesting thing, and thanks once again to James Butcher for, informing the world regarding ResearchCoin and research.
I mean, just to give James credit, so James runs a site called journalology.com. Is it journalology.com or .org? I can't remember. And Journalology. And if there's one resource that people should read, and to understand the latest of news in terms of what's going in the communications industry, I would recommend it.
So this is the site journalology.com itself, Tony.
Yeah.
Okay, so now
absolutely recommend it.
Right, and now we are moving on to the quick hit section. So the first quick hit is Clarivate's new initiative, I suppose. Highly cited, not initiative. It is a 2024 report. Yeah, go on, Tony.
I was going to say it's not a new initiative report. Right. They've been producing these highly cited researcher reports for some time now.
Yeah, so this is a highly cited researcher report for the year 2024, where US remains the number one in highly cited researchers, but China is rapidly catching up, and it has shown a doubling of rates since 2018. The rest of the top five are UK, Germany, and Australia. And, one interesting thing, Tony, is that they've clearly mentioned that the number of researchers that do not qualify because of checks by international security standards, as ISI, has increased from 500 in 2022 to 2,000 in 2024. Now, Tony, this is great, but do you think, considering the number of retractions and other research integrity numbers that we are seeing, is this number too low for you, or is it just about right?
I think that number is going to grow. Listen, there are 4 million. I saw a figure somewhere around the world. There are 4 million active knowledge workers, i.e., researchers in the world.
Right.
And active means they're producing content for publication. So that less than 0.1% of these authors have been highlighted as potentially being having issues with their papers. That number will only increase.
Yeah, interesting. I think we have another related piece coming in the next episode, the Nature Index's latest publication, but we'll talk about it in the next episode. We have one last thing to go through, Tony. This is a CSE blog, if a CSE kind of a science editor blog, actually. It is titled Publishing in January and Impact on Citation. Does the data support the strategy? So this blog article basically is evaluating whether the month of publication of a research article affects citations. So articles published... Yeah, go on.
I was going to say that I've been in the scholarly publishing world, in the journals world, for over 20 years, and there was one of the first things I heard was this kind of apocryphal information that if you're going to publish your paper in January, you're more likely to get more citations and have a better impact factor for your research than if you publish in December, because it's less of a year than for your work to be measured. And I think what this article does is dispels that myth very well.
Yeah, so this is a study over a 5-year period for data from Lippincott journals, and it found out that articles published in October, November, and December, the festive season, I would say, or holiday season, citation contributions are lower, or the lowest among all the other months, indicating a shorter exposure in terms of yearly citation. Now, that's something that maybe we have to have a rolling sort of a citation index. Would you agree with that, Tony? Instead of saying 2024 citations,
I can understand the logic. If you've only got 3 months to measure it compared to 12 months to measure it, yes.
So interestingly, the average citation contribution for articles published in the first 8 months of the year varied, with unexpected spikes in June and August. I would not know why. Maybe summer holidays. I don't know. People have more time.
More time to read and cite.
Yeah. But January ranked only 5th in the average citation contribution, tying with May. Now, Tony, would you, with your immense experience in the world of scholarly publishing, would you recommend researchers plan their research publishing according to calendars so that they get more citations?
No, there are so many other more important factors than when, apart from, if you're competing against another research group, is publish the paper when it's ready to be published, regardless of what time of year it is. Make sure you've got everything, all your other steps and measures are in place in terms of research integrity, citations, quality, the peer review process. If you happen to be published in the first 8 months of the year and you get a slightly better citation performance in that period, then fine. But, over a longer period of time, it evens out. So,
Tony, for such pearls of wisdom, if they want to find more such pearls of wisdom from Tony O'Rourke, where can they find it?
If you need to contact me, I'm at tonyo@inago.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn.
And where can they find such pearls of wisdom on PubShorts or other content that Inago or Trinka publish?
Yeah, by all means, inago.com has the Inago Academy, which has some fantastic information, fantastic pieces around processes that will help you, the author, the researcher, in creating your content. So I would urge you to search for the Inago Academy as well. Yes,
and as I mentioned at the top of the episode, if you find us on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and like, share, and hit the bell notification icon. I'm trying to be a millennial, Tony, not working on really well. But anyway, please support us and ask us questions and send us suggestions on topics that you would like us to cover, and we do our best to cover them all. And Tony, before I leave you alone, I want to ask you, do you have any interesting Black Friday purchases?
Well, I did have one, which arrived earlier today, which was, I'm a big fan of the British rock group Muse. I don't know if you can see this. This is an album that came out last year called Absolution 20th Anniversary Edition. So it's the classic album from 2003, which they've re-released as a special edition. So I was delighted to get that.
Excellent. So another musical note to sort of bring us to the end of the episode. So once again, this is PubShorts. This was a PubShorts episode 15, Money for Nothing and Research for Free. We'll be back in a couple of days, Tony. So that's what our plan is. And until we are back, this is Dr. KK signing off on behalf of everybody who helps us bring such content. And on behalf of Tony, we'll see you in the next episode. Tony, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.